following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss the coronavirus, the NFL draft, and their favorite hip-hop verses. They also get into a buy or sell segment, answer a listener question, and of course wrap it up with some trivia. On to the show. Let's get it. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Chill, pool, money, West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. This is the Shy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 151. Y'all come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glymph, and soon to be Thomas Stevens. What's good, Al?
Man, it's all good, bruh. I mean, use the word powered by. That's like the word of the night in my house, power. Because I wasn't sure if we was going to be able to do this tonight because my power was out. But fortunately, a couple hours ago, it was restored. And, like we apparently had like a tornado come through about 20 minutes from here. So it's all types of weather issues, natural disaster stuff going on. I heard about an earthquake going on somewhere in the country. So just for all those who dealing with stuff on top of the virus stuff, just that's some real shit. And we definitely always have our thoughts and prayers out to those folk. But that being said, bro, it's good to be here. Right. It's Tuesday. A nice break of the monotony of just staying at home and sheltering in place. So just good to be here. We might have to break this out to like 4 or 5 times a week because
that's what I was about to say. We might have to do some bonus quarantine episodes because man, like we was just talking about this. Like usually, I know we say we the highlight of the week, but this shit is real right now. Like this is really the highlight of my week. Now it's the only time we get to break it up a little bit.
Real talk. So glad to be here. Glad to be here with y'all always. Looking forward to the show, and it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, man. Again, Pooh will be joining us shortly. Don't know what's going on his end. Maybe his lights went out. We don't know. So he said he'll be here in about 10 minutes. So Pooh's 10 minutes, usually toning in about an hour. So we'll talk to Pooh when we see.
I was about to say, he said 10 minutes about 37 minutes ago, but whatever. Right. I mean, who counting?
Hey, But yeah, man. So we'll talk to Pooh shortly. But as always, before we get into the meat of the show, got a little bit of house cleaning. Just want to take a minute to shout out a couple of our patrons, as we always do. So shout out to Veronica White and Keisher Glymph. We are, as we always say, we are very, very grateful for our patrons. We couldn't do a lot of the stuff we do without you guys and your support and. Whether that's financially or whether it's listenership or, sharing stuff or commenting. We are so grateful for our patrons. And, again, if all this coronavirus stuff dies down in time, which we hope it does for many reasons, but specifically for now, we got a Defy Life cookout to do this summer. So we got to make sure as many of our patrons can be there as possible. So make sure Al and West Coast Jay can be there this year.
Damn. Talk about bringing back bad memories.
Oh, man.
Now you just took me back to that moment of getting a phone call. What barbecue? That's this weekend?
Right.
Oh, man. You took me back to that moment, man.
Yeah, man. So
not a highlight of 2019. Definitely
right.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So, but we did have a lot of patrons in the building. We're in the backyard that day.
Right,
so
right.
hopefully we'll be able to kick it off. But, all the partners of Defy Life are talking about it. So it's
nice. Definitely
on the forefront. So if we we throwing around some things, if we're not able to, be amongst each other by then, we throwing around the idea of doing a Christmas party. So we will make it happen at some point. So everybody stay tuned. But again, even the cookout itself is thanks in large part to the patrons and everything y'all do. And so we want to make sure we have as many of y'all there so we can thank you back. So again, shout out to our patrons for this week, Keisher and Veronica.
Thank y'all. Shout out.
Absolutely. But yeah, y'all definitely check us out. Again, new episode every Wednesday. Check us out on defylifepods.com. And everywhere else you listen to your favorite podcast. But check out the entire network. Go defylife.com, our original site with all of our written content. Again, defylifepods.com. And defylifegear.com. If you're not aware, April is Autism Awareness Month, so we do have the Defy Life puzzle piece T-shirts out there to show awareness for autism. So go out there, check them out, and get your Autism Awareness Defy Life shirt.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, but this is, as you said a few weeks ago, Al, this is our new reality. So seems like we got to lead every episode with our COVID-19 update. Anything changed for you over the last week, or how you maintain?
Man, let's see. Let's start with what's most important, which is my family is well, safe. Actually, I think last time I shared that people that I was in contact with someone who was tested positive.
Right.
So throughout the course of last week, me personally showed no symptoms. So, everything was fine on my end. The person that had this, who tested positive, she is fully recovered and awesome. Back up and around and doing great things. So that's a blessing. So, that's a good thing, that I think in terms of how it impacted me personally, so far so good. So that's great, right? I think just in terms of the country, just looking at how we're up to like 75% of the country is on some type of stay-at-home type, mandate. That just talks to you about the impact of how it's spreading throughout the country. So it's real. I think every day more and more people are taking it seriously. And I still don't think we have, everybody appreciating that. But I think, more and more people are, have gone out this last week and, going shopping and stuff like that. So it's cool that the stores that I am in are actually mandating the social distancing. It's like one store I was in was only letting certain people come in the store, so certain people, I guess as people were leaving, they were allowing other people to come in just to make sure that it wasn't overpopulated. Once you got inside, they had little X's at the cash register, so that as you stood in line, you were 6 feet apart. I thought that was dope. One store I went to, I guess it was because they wasn't really busy, they didn't even let you come in the store. They took your order from the parking lot. So, you'd pull in, somebody would walk up, stand away from your door, your window. You have a conversation about what you were looking for. They'll go in, find it, come out. This what you want? Yeah, they took my card, went back in, run it up, brought back the receipt. So I mean, the commercial, the stores, how they're adapting it really makes you wonder again about this new reality about how as we get into these new habits and these new way of being, how things are going to be different.
Right.
So it's been interesting. I mean, it's had an impact on me. I think one thing that I noticed in the last week or so is how my Facebook presence has picked up.
Right.
And I think that is due to where the last year or so, I was trying not to be social in that regards, because I was trying to be more quote unquote productive. I think now I'm remembering the need to connect with people and how fun it can be to relate and connect with people. And it's just something that just the void is even more deep at this time. So definitely find myself just, on checking, engaging more on Facebook and social media. So it's been cool, man. I think the projects around the house is something else that's kind of picked up, like things that you been putting off for a while. Like, I'm looking at my office right now. It's kind of a disarray because I done pulled stuff out, and I'm gonna go through this and go through that stack and this and that. So just taking the time to purge and just all the things of whether it's scanning pictures or scanning documents and just putting stuff up on the wall, or just all these things that I said I was going to do is definitely come to the forefront of my life and become part of what I do while I'm at home, along with the teleworking that I'm doing at home during the day. But you got to find things to do to break the monotony, like you said, in terms of the regular routine of the people at the house. So, but it's been good, man. I'm just trying to get through it.
Absolutely, man. Again, we had the third episode of Defy Life Trivia. Shout out to your wife for being on there and kind of adding to this, bit of a breaking of the routine for the week. So we have fun with that. Shout out to Miggs for moving on to the championship round to face off against you and Simba. So that should be fun.
Yes, sir.
So we got that to look forward to. But yeah, man, and like you said, it's much of the same, man. It's I think right now we're up to about 188,000 total cases in the U.S. We're up over 3,800 deaths. Like in the U.S. Alone. So those reported cases are picking up, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Those positive tests are picking up, but the death toll is not keeping up as fast. But I hear we are about 9 days. We're still about 9 days away from the apex. So we still are not even hit at a climax as of yet.
I was about to say that's best case scenario.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're hoping.
Right. But they did say that although New York is kind of the epicenter, the positive, the positive results of it's the first time since this has happened that the positive results have gone down on a daily report. So but again, they're still projecting it's going to get worse again within the next 9 week or so. But so stuff is still happening. Stuff we're dealing with, and like you said, just like you said, it's just the stuff that we're having to deal with differently on a daily basis. We stuck in the house, so I had to go out the other day to get so we can make sure we had gas in the cars because in case we had to go anywhere. So we were both on these. So I was out getting some stuff. My wife was like, "Put gas in my car while you out." And then come back and get your car and put gas in it just in case. So while I was out, I'm on out, and my wife was like, "I'm tired of cooking. We've been stuck in the house. I want pizza." I was like, "Shit, where you want pizza from?" So we have a Domino's close to us. Just go to Domino's. So I ordered online. Of course, they either deliver or you have to pick it up. But they do their pickup differently now. So I open the door, and there's like a blockade at the door. They got like a cart in front of the door with a sign on it that says transaction point. And you have to wait at the door for your order, and they bring your pizza out to you. So yeah, it's just different. But but it's, we're getting adjusted, and a lot of this stuff is probably going to be our permanent.
Yeah, I think so.
At least until the foreseeable future. But yeah, I've been, in my downtimes at home, like you said, you have more downtime. So, I've been, luckily, my beautiful wife got me these Bowflex adjustable dumbbells for my birthday. So I've been hitting the weights hard. My kids have been hitting the weights hard with me. So Lincoln's hoping his football season doesn't get canceled, because he said he's gonna be a beast when the season starts. I like that. We got some outdoor time. Our Uncle Walt sent Lincoln a speed ladder for his, just because he's like, I want to send him something for his season. So Uncle Walt sent him a foot speed ladder.
Go ahead, Wally.
Yeah. So he ain't sent it to him. He was like, Jay, find me when I send you the money. So,
same thing.
But he was like, I can't find this thing on Amazon. I was like, well, at least you know how to get to Amazon. But yeah, so he got it, and he's been asking me for a few weeks now, can we start doing it? And I was like, man, it's still a little too cool outside. Let's wait till it warms up. Finally got a couple warm days, and it wasn't raining. So we went out, and he thought it was going to be fun. But he realized how much work it is working that ladder. So, but yeah, he put in a little work out there. So, but it was fun. So just stuff like that, man, getting back into the, just remember you can be outside doing stuff, but don't be around people. So, again, man, it's just stuff you got to get used to and break up the routine, man.
Yeah, I did a virtual game night.
Oh, that's dope.
Friday night. So we was on some type of video conferencing, and 2-3 couples, and we actually played Taboo.
Oh, that's dope.
Which was, it was a challenge. I ain't gonna say it was the same as you're there, but it was more the conversation. These are people I got 25 years of, friendship with, but they're different parts of the country right now. So actually one is actually here in Atlanta, but they seem like they're in a different part of the country because I don't get to see them.
Exactly.
But it was good. It was really, really good. So people find these innovative things to make up for what you're missing by being stuck. So we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through
absolutely. So it's just a matter of you gotta go through it to get to it, right?
So I still love. I think part of what I enjoy about being on social media, though, is seeing the parents or people who are aware of parents venting about their kids. And I'm like, yo, this has to be like the world's longest snow day.
Yo,
ever,
really? Where
parents are just like, yo, when is this gonna end? Because, like, I think, and I was talking to my wife, and I think what people are understanding is this concept called self-regulation. And I'm not really an educator, although I work in schools, but work around schools. I don't even work in schools. Right. But I've heard enough educators talk about that concept, that so many kids can't self-regulate. And now they're home and they're just doing whatever the hell they want to. Right. And parents are like, yo, how do I regulate these kids? Why they don't listen to me? Why I'm telling them 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm like, but when the teacher was saying that, that little Johnny or little Alvin wasn't listening. Oh, now the teacher liar. The teacher picking on my kid. Why they saying my kid got attention deficit. I'm just saying, man, some of these kids just don't listen. And I'm just not loving it, because, but it's real interesting looking at the parents complain about their own damn kids because they can't get their kids to do nothing.
Yeah, man. It's I've had to have a few conversations with my kids. My kids are pretty good about being aware and doing what they're supposed to do at a given time, but there's still PlayStations involved, and their attention gets taken away. So they I had to have those conversations, and they all but today, funny you listen, so we did their regular workout in the morning, and then they after they went classes. And Pooh, is that you back there throwing around the kitchen sink?
Here, man, that's Keita in the kitchen.
Oh, Pooh, there you go again.
Man, what's good? I've been on for about 10, 12 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, I heard somebody back there. I heard somebody in the background rebuilding the transmission. I was like, is that Pooh?
Yeah, Keita back there getting water.
Oh.
And then she gonna look at me because I guess she realized the noise is just astronomical. And she looked at like, "Oh, you on mute?" And I was like, "No, I'm not on mute." Right?
Yo, Pooh, you off or something, bro? Like, do something more. Let a brother know you here.
You know, I don't. You know, once y'all, once you took a breath or something, I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm here."
I like that. What's up, man?
No doubt.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What's good with you?
Man, nothing. You already know what it is. That COVID-19.
Right. So we just finished saying. Yeah, man.
I heard y'all.
Same old shit. But yeah, I just literally I jumped off of being the first guest on Unsupervised, the spinoff, and jumped right on here. So
okay.
Yeah, so shout out to Money and West Coast and Hollywood.
Word.
They sound like a rap, but Money, West Coast, and Hollywood sound like the Migos.
Sound more like a 1982 group, though.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
They sound. If I told you those was three members of the Furious Five, you would believe me and shit.
Right?
With nobody hate on that.
Like they giving each other five on the backhand side. But it was dope though. Their first guest. Again, proud of those guys. We had a lot of fun, and so y'all definitely check it out. So yeah, just got off with them and jumped on with y'all. Anything to be guests and anything to be on podcast like now, because this shit here. So
right.
Everybody's show. So yeah, man. So but yeah. So Al, I'm my kids had their regular workout, and then they were supposed to even everybody's adjusting. So their Taekwondo just started doing their lessons on Zoom. Okay. So they say, so I was like, boys, make sure you got your Zoom downloaded on your phone. You can either do the early class or the late class. We'll do the late class because, of course, by then they were out of, quote unquote school and had some time to play the game. So, my wife had given them their schedules and everything. I'm doing some work. I go back there and check on them, and my wife is going off. She's like, "You missed your class. Back here playing this game," and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, "Oh, so now you're in the class. Put your shoes and socks on. We're about to have another workout. And get ready and get wet." Yo, I put them through a serious workout. So it's that they still kids, but, you can't, especially mine are, 13 and 10. So they got to know a little bit of how to be self-reliant and, they're not babies anymore. So they learned that lesson today. They went to work in that second workout.
Yeah. And, I hope it's then because I think that's how because I'm with you. I think we all understand that kids are kids, right? So when teachers, I think, are talking about that these kids ain't sin, it's not that they expect them to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But they do expect once you get corrected,
right?
And that they give them, okay, you don't do that. Now I want you to do this. That they do this, but nah, they like, man, I'm doing what I want to do,
right?
And so
but
you got to build in those consequences. Is my point. And
exactly.
Make sure your kids follow through.
Right. So we'll continue to adjust, or otherwise, I keep telling them, so you just power day. So we're gonna do.
They'll change. Behavior modification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of them. No, they're getting. I can see their clothes are fitting different. Bellies are going down. So good stuff for them.
Good shit.
But yeah, man. One thing that's not changing is the date of the NFL draft this year. The draft will go on as planned, at least date wise. But there won't be a big event. There won't be a bunch of people gathering. They'll do it studio style. And prospects will be invited to the draft via video cam. So they're adjusting like we're all adjusting, but at least we got something to look forward to. The NFL is always there. So, we've been talking the last few weeks about free agency and free agency. So I kind of want to work our way up to the draft and talk prospects. So we'll just go, by positions. We're going to start out with the quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers this week. So I think everybody who's, following the draft a little, or at least follow college football, that, Joe Burrow is expected to go number 1 overall to Cincinnati. There's also Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. There's Jordan Love from Utah State. So, Jacob Eason from Washington. The kid from Oregon. Keep forgetting his name. But yeah.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert, yeah. So a lot of guys, Jalen Hurts is out there. Al, what's your overall thoughts on this QB class, and who's your overall thoughts, and then who's your top guy and who's your sleeper?
Overall, I think it's above average quarterback class. And I say above average just because I think at the top you got some heavy hitters. I think Burrow is going to be I think he's going to be a really, really good quarterback. And I also think if healthy, so is Tua. But the sleeper to me, though, the guy I like Love. And while I think I'll accept that, the top 2 guys are the top 2 guys and they deserve it. I mean, Tua has a couple of years, say a season, a little more than a season, right? But he's proven himself. And I think so is Burrows. He's proved himself last year with an amazing, some might say the greatest quarterback season ever, right, in college football. So he's proved himself in that regard. He's earned it. So I ain't mad at that, people giving it a props. But the guy who, the more I watch, and I didn't see him a lot in college, but as I watch the highlights, I like Love, and I think he's going to translate well into the league. I like his arm, and I like his athleticism, and the poise, his mental side of it. And hearing him talk a little bit, I kind of like that side of it as well. So that's my sleeper.
Cool. Yeah, I like Jordan Love, especially in today's NFL. Yeah. Pooh, what are your thoughts on the overall class, and who's your sleeper?
Overall class, I think we're kind of top heavy, so to speak. I do like Tua, and I really, really, really like Joe Burrow. I mean, he was a professional athlete playing last year. One online class, spending 8-9 hours watching film, breaking down tape, working with the coaches. So the kid was a coach on the field. So I really like what I see out of Joe. And Tua, he's athletic. He's a pinpoint passer, accuracy, athletic. Definitely a stud if he can stay on the field. And I'm with you guys with Love. I do like Love. He reminds me of a Russell type. Athletic. Seems to be pretty accurate. I haven't seen a lot of them. Only, I guess, highlights, so to speak. But he seems pretty accurate. I haven't seen an entire game of him. But he's my horse. He's my dark horse.
Okay. All right. Quick question, follow up, Pooh. So I know you mentioned Joe Burrow essentially operated as a professional last year. Are there any concerns when he steps to the NFL and everybody's able to study 8 hours a day and everybody's able to study him 8 hours a day? Like when that playing field is even, are there any concerns there?
I don't have any concerns because I look at his balls. His balls where they were in a window where they were contested and it was only one guy can make the play, if not is out of bounds, or one guy can make the play or it's just flat out incomplete. Whether it's a safety bearing down or one-on-one coverage, or just giving his receiver a chance to make a play on the ball, his throws was absolutely outstanding. So I'm convinced. I'm convinced with Joe.
Cool. Yeah. We got a consensus on Jordan Love being a sleeper. of course, the concerning part with Jordan Love is, the drastic increase in interceptions from his junior year to his senior year. But he literally lost 9 offensive starters from last year, and he also lost his offensive coordinator. So he was playing with a supporting cast that was very subpar and also new. So he tried to do too much. It was obvious.
Right.
I watched 3 full games on him, 1 from last year, 2 from this year, and it was obviously he was obviously trying to do too much with the little talent he had around him. So I think he'll be fine. He's like you said, Al, he's got the right mentality. He's got his head on right, and he took full, as a leader should do, he took full accountability for those interceptions. And he when asked about it, he said, "Hey, if I didn't want to talk about the interceptions, I shouldn't have threw them." So, so he's
like
ready
that
to
attitude.
move on. Right, exactly. So, moving on to running backs. Pretty solid class running backs. As in recent years, the running back position has been devalued so much that unless you're an absolute stud, a lot of teams aren't willing to look at you in the first round. But, you've got a lot of good ones, I think. You've got the DeAndre Swift and just the guy Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU. Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. It's a guy from Utah. Zach Moss. There's a lot of them.
J.K.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins.
He's a beast.
Right. Pooh,
he just don't have the quicks, though.
He don't have the quick. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pooh, who? What do you think about the overall class, and who's your top guy, and who's your sleeper?
Man, it's definitely a solid class. Top to bottom. I really, and I'm hearing a lot of hoopla on Swift, and I really like Swift. I just don't think he's the top guy. Taylor, man, he's an absolute stud, and like no matter what they did, no matter how many they stacked in the box, no matter what, the kid performed, and he's just an absolute stud. I think he's the top guy. I think Taylor's the top guy, and I think Swift, he's definitely a stud as well. Dark horse, and I think they have him rated like 4th or 5th, is J.K. I just think he's a hard hat lunch pail guy. He's quicker than you think, he's faster than you think, and he's definitely he's hard to tackle. He can make you miss on the phone booth, and it doesn't look like it, but I saw the Tiger game, and every game I saw, J.K. Dobbins produced. Where it was in Michigan State, Michigan, whoever they played, he looked like one of the best players on the field. Period. So I really think they're sleeping on him. I really think he's going to produce as a pro.
Cool. Another follow-up, Jonathan Taylor. I really love Jonathan Taylor. Love his athleticism, his speed, the size is, is prototype for the NFL. The biggest question is his fumbles, man. Was lack of physicality one. Like he's kind of like I won't compare him as players, but in this sense, he's kind of like Darren McFadden. When he gets hit, his feet stop.
Okay.
So he don't break a lot of tackles. But his biggest concern is fumbles, man. He's got, let me read this to you. In 41 career games, Taylor has fumbled 18 times. 15 of those recovered by the opposing team. What's worse is his inability to hold on to the ball has not improved over the course of his career. With 8 fumbles in 2017, 4 fumbles in 2018, and 6 in 2019. Like, he's just not improving, with his ball security. Does that concern you at all? Because it's one thing we know about the NFL. If you fumble, you're going to end up on the bench.
Yeah, and the guys are definitely going to come after the ball. Right. I really didn't know that. I didn't do my homework with that. But out of those fumbles, how many carries is he getting? Is he averaging like one fumble every 130 carries? Or
he's got about 600 carries in his career.
600 carries in his career, 18 fumbles. That's still too frequent.
Yeah.
That's still too freaky. That's definitely alarming. But you get those guys in the league, and you see guys where they have fumbling problems, and they work with the right coach, and they definitely like Tiki, for instance. So it's definitely a work in progress. But I guess if you scared a guy's going to put it on the ground, they definitely would shy away from him in the first round. But I definitely think he's a first round talent, man. I think he's a stud. What kid run a 4.39? He break the line of scrimmage, make a guy miss, he can go. Right. And we all looking for the home run hitter. But I still like him. But first round, yeah.
Yeah, I like him. Because you can teach a guy to hold on to the ball. Right. Like you said, you can teach that. You can't teach that speed. So, yeah. Al, what's your overall thoughts on the running back class? Who's your top guy and who's your sleeper?
Yeah, I look at this class as, I think solid is a great word to describe it. I don't see the one or two like superstars like that you would say, oh, you pinpoint them and say that guy right there is definitely going to be the next Barkley. I don't see that in terms of just just obvious. But I do see 6 to 8 backs that I would predict have a good 6 to 8 year career in the league of really being a really, really good running back. And yeah, they might go to 2 or 3 teams in their career, just to your point of how the league values running backs. But I think, you look at somebody like a Carlos Hyde or something like that, somebody who, is going to move from team to team, but going to be productive in every team he plays for. So I see several guys like that. My top guy, I agree with y'all, Jonathan Taylor, to me, because of his speed, size, productivity. I think, for me, what I like about Wisconsin running backs is that, they come from a system that, caters to running the ball, usually has a good offensive line in front of you. And to me, that allows a running back to develop well and be prepared for the NFL. So I usually like running backs coming out of Wisconsin. So yeah, lot of love for Jonathan Taylor. My sleeper, and I like Swift. He was injured, but so you really will see what he looks like. The dude out of LSU, Hilaire, he a little short for me, right? So I do love his game. Real productive in the SEC. Productive against Clemson, so I've seen him do it. But my sleeper, just because I'm a Florida State fan, Cam Akers.
I like
Cam back this year.
Yeah, I like him.
And I think he's gonna be slept on because Florida State hasn't had the best success recently. So I don't think a lot of people
sucks.
That too, right? So I think. But to be able to run like that behind that offensive line and stand out, to me, says something. So I did watch some of his games, and I like the way he runs. He got a good he's balanced, can catch the rock, and shows up. So that's going to be my sleeper, somebody that I would love to see to get it. Actually, I would love the Jets to snatch him up and add them to their roster of running backs. So that's somebody I'm hoping falls to the Jets. 3rd round, 4th round, somewhere down the line.
All right, yeah. I like Cam Akers. Again, like with his offensive line, I think it did get to a point where he didn't trust him. And, at times he would try to, find his own way, break it outside when he just didn't trust the hole was going to be there. So I think he's going to be a better professional than he was in college.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a different sleeper.
Hey, if he did come to the Jets, the offensive line in Florida State probably would be better than what he was with the Jets. Although they did make some free agent moves this week. So.
They did.
Shout out to him.
And if he goes to the Jets, considering how the type of game that Le'Veon plays, he might not see too many snaps if Le'Veon's healthy. Le'Veon don't really come out the game.
Right, he don't like to sit on the bench,
right? But speaking of Le'Veon, I got a different sleeper for y'all. A guy who was about the same size Le'Veon was coming out of college. But he's a bit faster. But AJ Dillon from Boston College. He came to the combine. He's 6 feet 250. Dude came out and ran a 4.53. Not bad for a 250-pound back.
Right.
But he put up numbers at Boston College, and he's pretty much all they had on offense. But I see him as a guy who could, like Le'Veon, could come in, drop 20 pounds, and be even more athletic and kind of fit the mold of a current running back. But I like his running style. I'm not sure at 250 if he can be, like he can have the shakes that he needs to have. And there's enough wiggle. But a guy that size and that athletic, you can drop about 15, 20 pounds like Le'Veon did, and become more involved as an every down back. And especially someone who's probably not going to get drafted to the 3rd, 4th round, I like him as a sleeper.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see him, even as he changes his body, playing a role in special teams or even on some short yardage packages. So I like him.
All right. So on to the receiver class, man. This is now people are touting this as one of the best receiver classes in the history of the draft. The NFL draft in 2014 is considered to be, in the modern era, the best receiver class that we've ever seen. So that 2014 class included, Odell Beckham. Who else? Mike Evans was in that class. Sammy Watkins was in that class. Kelvin Benjamin. Dude from
was Brandon Cooks? Was he in it?
Brandon Cooks was in that class. John Brown was in that class. The guy that just my mind just left the Vikings, went to the Bills. Diggs, Stephon Diggs was in that.
Diggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the better classes we've ever seen. People are saying that this class could challenge that class and be even better. So you do have the likes of Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma, Henry Ruggs from Alabama, Justin Jefferson from LSU. Just names. Laviska Shenault from Colorado. So just names all over the place. Brandon Ayuk. So Al, what is your overall thoughts on this receiver class? Who's your top guy, and who's your sleeper? And then also, since this is such a deep class, who do you think will be who's your most likely to bust?
So to my memory, I can't think of a wide receiver class this deep to where you hear numbers like 20, 30 wide receivers going in like the third, before the 3rd round is over, just like high numbers, just like, because it's that stocked with really, really, really good wide receivers.
And saying that people are going to get consistent, like drafting starters out into the 6th round. Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Right? Because usually by the 6th round, you take in projects.
Right.
You take in maybe a kick returner. But I think what that's going to do real quick is that it's going to offer a real interesting draft strategy for these teams. Because if you're telling me that, I could go 5 rounds and still be able to draft a wide receiver that could start on a team, that allows me to use my draft picks 1, 2, 3, and 4 a little differently, if I don't have, unless, now, but I still think, some of these receivers are like worth taking. Like, you want him. Yeah, this is a deep draft, but this is the guy you want on your team. If and to me, that guy, I like Lamb out of them all. the route running, the speed, the production, the hands. He goes to get the ball. He's explosive. Like I think he's and I think you ain't gonna go wrong with Judy. You're not gonna go wrong with the other one, Ruggs. Because they're Jefferson. I like him too. I like Jefferson a lot too. But out of all of the top guys, I'm gonna go with Lamb as my number one.
All right.
My sleeper, I like the kid out of USC.
Edwards.
Michael Pittman.
Pittman.
You remember his dad? You remember his dad?
Yeah, I do. Rough, tough guy.
All right.
He's quick. I like his size. I like the way he's fought for the ball.
Right. And
so I think he's the guy that he's my sleeper down the line. Now my bus and Pooh, you're gonna be mad at me, but maybe I got a little animosity because they lost the game and I lost some money and he was hurt though, but the potential bust for me is Higgins.
True.
Yeah.
And this is maybe it's injury, yeah, I don't know what, but that's the one that, and again, it could be I'll admit that I could have some championship game what do you call it, hangover, to where I still got a little man, I can't believe I lost that game in me, but yeah, that'd be my potential bust, Higgins.
All right. Pooh, what say you? What do you think about the overall class at receiver? Who's your top guy and who's most likely to bust?
The class is entirely too deep. I'm looking right here, man, and as the 15th rated receiver is Brian Edwards from Carolina, and I think he's a man. That kid's a stud. I go down a little deeper. The kid from look at Denzel Mims. He's the 17th rated guy. Out of Baylor. So it's stacked. It's stacked, and I would definitely love to get one of these guys with size. I like Judy. I like Judy as well. But I just don't know. I just don't know if he's that same guy without 10 other parade All-Americans on the field with him. And I don't want to knock him on that any because he definitely shined. However, I just don't know. So my top guy, I'm gonna have to go there with Al, man. I'm gonna go with Lamb. When I saw it, those guys playing against who they play LSU, he definitely looked like he belonged on the field. High point, back shoulder. He was doing it all. Hands. I think he caught about 12, 13 balls. I think he had like 2 drops near the end, but he was doing his thing. His 40 time is surprising. I thought he looks faster. He plays a lot faster, so that's a good thing. He ran a 4.5. Yeah, he ran a 4.5, so he plays a lot faster. And I like T. Not because I'm a Clemson guy, but I definitely saw a lot of games out of T. Back shoulder fade. He gets chemistry with a quarterback. They were throwing the ball 6 inches off the ground, and T was plucking it off the ground. So I really like T. But the guy that who can prove to be the best out of this draft, Jay, I know you didn't ask that, is Justin Jefferson.
He's a beast.
He has this Beckham Jr. quality about him to me. Because the kid is just like.
You mean like he blow up locker rooms and get it?
No, I'm just kidding. his ability to find the ball, high point the ball, back shoulder. He's super duper athletic, and like let me put it like this: when I saw Beckham Jr. play, I didn't really see that in LSU. I just know that he was a stud, or I didn't see him being that type of a guy. But if I just go back and think about the things that I saw out of him, I see the same things out of Jefferson. So the pro game could definitely open it up more for him.
True.
Man, let me think about the bus, man. I really don't know, man. About the bus. I'm gonna go out on a limb, man. I'm gonna say Jerry Judy. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Jerry Judy, man. I haven't seen him be physical. I haven't seen a lot of people be physical with him because you're afraid of him, afraid of Bama. So I didn't really see him have any wars. I saw him a lot of running free all over the field. So I'm gonna say Jerry Judy.
Okay. All right. That's interesting because my top guy is Jerry Judy. Okay. Just for guys like that who are, of course he's fast enough. He's got average size, but he's an advanced route runner. And guys like that usually have a high floor, even if his ceiling's not as high as CD Lamb. So I think he's like, previous Alabama receivers, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, those guys who were good route runners, had good hands, and, they may never be the best receiver in the league, but they're going to be productive. So I think he's, the safest guy, so I'm going with number one with him. Okay. My sleeper is probably a guy many people haven't heard of, probably won't get drafted to about the 6th round, which is why he's my sleeper. But James Prochet from Southern Methodist, SMU. He's kind of an Emmanuel Sanders type. So, those guys who, and Emmanuel Sanders with the SMU as well. So it's kind of easy to make that projection. But I like Prochet. He's, quick in and out of his breaks, amazing hands. But, he comes from that offense where his numbers were kind of inflated, so he won't get drafted high. He's not an imposing guy. But I think he'll stick around in the league for a while as a top slot guy. And my bust, as much as I like him, I'm going to go with Laviska Shenault from Colorado. Big guy who looked like he was chiseled and like somebody made him on Madden. But, as physically gifted as he is and as fun as he is to watch with the ball in his hands, like he doesn't show a lot of effort or, effectiveness as a blocker. He doesn't do much without the ball in his hands. So he's going to have to be coached up a lot. His route running leaves a lot to be desired. So it kind of reminds me, considering where he's going to be drafted, he's probably going to be in the league for a while because he's such a great athlete. But I could see him turning out to be like a Cordero Patterson type, who's not really giving you much as a receiver. But you got to find ways to make him effective.
Right.
So,
okay.
And he'll give you something in the return game.
Okay.
Right. Special teams.
Right. So, yeah. But yeah, that's it. We just want to touch on those 3 positions now as we lead up to the draft. We've got about 3 weeks left. So next week, we will talk tight ends and offensive linemen. So y'all get ready for that. But yeah, it's going to be fun leading up to the draft. It's one of the few things we got to look forward to in the sports world.
Well, I'm kind of glad they left it as is. I mean, to me, the draft is something that you can do multiples of ways. So considering it's part of the schedule and to not do it would push things back.
Right.
Like if this is something you can take care of, knock it out so people know where they're going and get it out the way.
Yeah, especially if the NFL is hoping that all of this is good to go, so the season won't get pushed back. So yeah, you got to get stuff that you can. Which leads us to my next question. We're talking about guys who are prime NFL prospects. Most of those guys were all of those guys were superior high school athletes. Guarantee you every single one of them. So I got a question for y'all. Al, you first. Who's the best high school football player and the best high school basketball player you've ever seen in person?
So I talked about the best basketball player in the past.
Right.
And so just mentioning Pearl Washington and what he did at that, and when I was in high school and him growing. It was like an all-star game where he scored like 50, 60 points against some of the best high school players in New York City at the time. Then just seeing that, he's probably the best one I seen. But I don't want to mention him because I want to talk about Kenny Anderson.
My God.
So, he was the guy that New York City point guard that kind of came after Pearl. Mm-hmm. And while I was already in college, still able to see him play, but just that says a lot that you're coming back to check him out because you heard of this dude, right. And then to go see him ball out, just represent, and in the college arena and the pros was pretty impressive. But his handle, his ability to drive, even in high school, stood out to me. That it's hard to even put anybody even in Pearl's category, but I would put Kenny in the Dwayne Pearl Washington category as well.
Okay.
I was trying to remember this dude's name, and maybe you can, but a Georgia defensive back. I think he played with the Eagles for a second. Then he came to the Steelers. He was a quick cornerback. In the last 5-6 years, I'm gonna have to pull up his name.
I know you're talking about, and he got hurt when he came to the Steelers.
Correct. Could return punts.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't think of this dude's name. But the dude, and I'm trying to Google it at the same time. But he played at Fayette High School, like the local high school down here. Went to where my kids went to school, and so I think he, like just seeing him go from there to Georgia to ultimately the pros. He came back to Brandon Boykin. That's his name. Yeah. And he would come back to the high school basketball games every now and then. His brother wasn't even that big, he was but quick, and was an amazing athlete in high school. So honestly, when I was in high school, and even once I came down here, high school football wasn't large on my radar. Just because, like, high school football in New York City just isn't that big of a thing. And it's more of a basketball city when it comes to high school sports. And but even so, coming down here, I kept some of that in my life in terms of not doing high school football. But once my kids went to high school, it became more of a routine and me actually paying attention and noticing who goes where and who plays where. And I didn't really pick up to football in terms of following people really most of my life till they got to college, and really caring about how good players were. But once they went to high school and I started going to games, I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. I missed out a lot in my life. It's pretty cool.
Right.
So yeah, those would be my two.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Brandon Boykin, man. I was hurt when he got injured. Man. Pooh, let's see. Who's the best high school football player and the best high school basketball player you ever saw in person?
Best high school football player, man. I'm gonna go ahead and be a homer on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and say Cecil Caldwell, man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a homer on that one. I didn't see a lot of high school football, just the people that we played. I like personally, right? We're not talking about film or anything,
right? Yeah. In person.
So I gotta go with that guy, absolute monster.
Not a bad one.
I still don't see how you stay in front of him, in practice, really. But hey, absolute monster.
Right.
But basketball, man, wow, you got the kid Grip. I've seen a lot of good players, man. But I'm gonna go with a young girl. That's here in Columbia right now, man. Malaysia Ford Wiley. She is an absolute monster. Yeah. She's a high school freshman. She's been playing varsity, I think, since 8th grade. She led the team in scoring last year when they went to the championship. She led the team in scoring this year when they won the championship. Wow. So they went back to back. She's an absolute monster. Like, she used to So she was coming to my classroom all the time. She was, just come talk, kick it with us. She was like, yeah, I had a good game today at AAU. Well, the other day I did all right. So we asked her, well, how you do? Like, okay, I did pretty good. And so we'll come back later on. We were like, what you scored? She was like, oh, I had 75. We were like, what?
What?
Wow.
She was like, yeah, I had 75. Buckets. Like, I'm talking about, she talking that kind of stuff. I was like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. But she's a monster, man. She's gonna be someone. She's gonna be on someone's D1 team. Of course, you already know. You already know Dawn looking at her.
I'm
trying
sure
to get
her
at the games. You already know it, but man, she's a monster. She's a monster.
Yeah. That's dope. But Pooh, don't talk that girl into going to Clemson. Let Dawn get that girl.
Nah.
Wow. You need to stay home.
She ain't want nothing to do with. She ain't want nothing to do with them Tigers, man. I can definitely say, I handled a 1-on-1 back in the day. I can definitely hit her with that.
When she was 12. Okay.
Probably 11. Hey, the last time, she's grown about 6 inches since then.
Oh wow.
It's like 5'11", 6 now. So at that point, she was probably like 5'7" then, and she was a 6th grader though. So we always had the faculty staff game, and I ended up shooting threes against her, and she won that. I gave her that. So, but no, I didn't give it to her. I didn't give it to her. She won.
Funny.
Hey, I didn't give it to her. But
didn't nobody believe you, bro. She scored 75 points a game.
Right.
So I seen her at the state fair. Like a couple days later, she ran over, gave me a hug. I told Akita, yeah, that's Malaysia. She's definitely a good ball player. She'll be playing ball next year. So like the following week, we played 1-on-1, and I hit like 7 straight. And she was like, man, you really can shoot. Why'd you let me win the 3-point contest? And I was like, she said, believe me, if you know anything about me, I won't let you win anything. You
right.
you that fast square. Yeah, but man, she's gonna be something to read about though. Definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
What position does she play?
Bro, she's a point guard.
Right.
Wow.
Point guard, and she is an absolute score. I'm talking about behind the back, through the legs, reverse going. She'll take off on one side of the square, come up on the other. The block, come up on the other, left hand lay. I'm talking about, bro, she got it all. She tapping glass, the whole 9. She's something, man. She's something.
Wow. What school she play with?
She's at Keenan.
At Keenan. Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah, she's at Keenan.
Right. Yeah, man. I don't know. The football for me is stuff like I had to break it down to 2. I couldn't separate the 2. Well, both of them, football and basketball, I had to break down to 2. I couldn't make this decision. So football for me in high school, I got to see Stephen Davis play in person, and how back in the day when running backs was bigger than the rest of the team in high school. Herschel Walker, and that's how Stephen Davis was. Dude was 240. His offensive lineman was 225. It was just crazy. But when I was in 8th grade, I got to see him play, and I got to see him run track. So, funny story. We went to a track meet. Again, I was in 8th grade. So, my offensive line coach, I was through shot put and discus. My offensive line coach in football was my shot put and discus coach. So, trying to find him before we throw, and he's up in the the booth where the football announcers are during football games. All the track coaches are up there. So I go up there, they drinking beer, and Steve in there drinking with him.
Man, get out of here.
Yeah.
What?
Right. Steve in there drinking with him, and comes back down. And at the time, I didn't even know who Steve was. So I just see this dude in a track uniform, up there got a beer in his hand. So I don't know how many he had. Just when I went up there, he had one in his hand. Come back down, dude had to run the 100. Kid came down and ran a 10. It was like a 10-8 or some shit in the 100 after he finished drinking, at 240 pounds. But I got to see Spartanburg High. But Steve was crazy. Another one when I was living in Georgia. We living in Norcross, and I got to see Alvin in high school.
Wow.
And
really,
that like Georgia's one of the few states that have a 6A division. So Norcross is 6A. It's the biggest division, one of the biggest division in the country. That team had Alvin Kamara and Leonard Floyd on the same team. Leonard Floyd was a beast too, but he was so raw like he is now. He's just a great athlete. But Alvin Kamara was amazing. It was like he was the same dude he is now. It's just everybody else was kids. He was amazing. And at that time, he was set to go to Alabama, which he did, and got kicked off the team. That's how he ended up at Tennessee. Stephen Davis and Alvin Kamara in high school. And then basketball, I couldn't separate these two as well, but I got to see Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett in high school. And I would say it was Kevin Garnett because, he played his last year in Chicago. I would probably have to give the edge to Ray Allen just because he only played his senior year in South Carolina, so he was more advanced. But that dude, and he was a guard, so he had the ball in his hands more, and it was more impressive to see him in high school. But like the shooter he is now, but back then, he was still young. Yeah. He was still, still like super athletic. So yeah, Jesus Shuttlesworth, I'll go with for basketball. But yeah, so it's interesting because it's fun, like you said, Al, to see those guys in high school because you don't know who they're gonna be in that moment. And you look back and like, yo, I got a chance to see him. But when I was at Hampton, I got just by sheer luck, the McDonald's All-American game was in Hampton that year. It was in Richmond. And I went to that game, but that was the year that Ronald Curry was. You remember Ronald Curry ended up going to
North Carolina.
North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they had it in Virginia because he was supposedly at that point the greatest high school athlete since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But I went in that game and I remember thinking he ain't even the best player on this court. So y'all gonna remember a lot of these names who were really good in that game, and they turned out to be a lot of straight to the NBA busts. But y'all remember, well, first one's not. He was probably the best one in this game. But Frank Williams, he was a point guard with Illinois. And,
he played with the Knicks for a second.
Yeah. He was in that game. Jonathan Bender, you remember him? Played for the Pacers for a second.
Yep.
Corleone Young was in that game. So it was Mike Miller was in that game. Mike Miller from the Heat.
Yeah.
The
shooter.
Yeah, the shooter, right. And a few more guys whose names I can't remember. They played in the league, but Frank Williams was the best player in that game. But that's the only game I ever saw him in. I don't know if he was really that good all the time. But it's fun to see guys when they're young. Also got to meet Sweet Pea Whitaker at that game too.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Just kind of popped up to me at the last second after I'd already sent out the topic. So I was like, I wonder what y'all's answer would be with this question. So we're gonna do buy or sell before we go to a commercial break. We didn't do buy or sell last week just because we were so pushed for time. But my buy or sell this week, my buy or sell statement, the 2020 NFL season will be delayed due to COVID-19. We will not start the NFL season on time. Al, you buying or selling?
I buy that.
Okay. Pooh, you buying or selling that?
Start on time. That's with regular season or
first regular season game. Yeah.
First regular season game. Yeah, I buy it too.
Yeah. I just don't see. Well, like you said, all the stuff that they can get done in their control and kind of adjust things. I don't see the NFL, like, it's one thing to take the profit loss off of like not having a draft and people being there and missing out on all those events. It's another thing to like have games where no fans are going to be in the audience. or highly decreased because people are still afraid to come out. So like, I don't see it happening. I think the NFL's hand is going to be forced, and I also think at some point we're probably going to have a second wave of this thing. So once we get through this, people are going to get careless again, and probably going to have a second wave. So both of you agree with me? Ain't no need in arguing about it. We ain't starting this NFL season on time. So
yeah. And I really think that just, I don't want to drift too far back into the COVID conversation, but that is something that, because they're talking about it might happen during the fall,
right? So
how that would impact the NFL, NBA, baseball, like all of the seasons would potentially take a second hit. So
yeah. And the NCAA is already talking about moving their football season up to like June to try to beat it, before it has a second wave. So people just don't know. We like a lot of organizations and leagues are just throwing shit up against the wall and hoping something sticks, and it works when that time comes.
Just don't know,
right?
No.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, we're gonna jump into a commercial really quick. This is episode 151 of the Defy Life Podcast. We'll be right back with you.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit DefyLifeGear.com to get fitted for greatness.
Welcome back to episode 151 of the Defy Life Podcast. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph. Along with me, Alvin Glymph, Thomas Stevens. Yes, y'all definitely, again, go check out DefyLifeGear.com. Again, we've got the Autism Awareness shirts out there. Also, the newly released unsupervised, the spinoff podcast t-shirts will be out there this week. So definitely check those guys out. I'm sure Money, West Coast, and Hollywood will be highly appreciative. But yeah, when we left off, we all agreed that the NFL season will not start on time. Everybody bought into that statement that the season will be delayed due to COVID-19 and a lot of unforeseen things and projected things that we that are likely going to happen. So enjoy all this stuff that's going to happen while you can. So enjoy the draft, because the season probably ain't going to start on time. So moving on to our listener question. We got a listener question from Phillip from Decatur, Georgia. Shout out to you, Phillip.
Decatur, where's greater?
Decatur, where's greater? Phillip wants to know. Good question. So while we're all locked up in the house, Pooh, tell Phillip, what is an under the radar movie he can watch while he's in the house?
Oh, okay. I was on mute. You guys didn't hear me?
No,
we did.
Oh, okay. I was trying to sneak chips. Okay. I'm trying to sneak some chips. That's good you didn't hear me. Under the radar movie. Dad, because I've been really fishing myself. Let me go with, is it Disturbance? Oh man, it's a Netflix movie. Dad, you know what? I'm gonna Google it. It's a Netflix joint, and when you get done with Al, I have the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me Google it.
Al, Pooh pop locking and pass it to you.
Okay, like I caught it, I got it.
Right.
I'm gonna hit the ground like no problem and free. So, I'm a movie buff. I've been watching movies for a long time. So I don't know how he watch movies. So it's like, are you fire sticking it? Are you satelliting it? Are you Netflixing it? So I ain't, based on how you access movies, is really going to determine the list, right? So, hey, I just came up with a list of some of my favorite movies that ain't necessarily all that popular, so to say.
Okay.
You know, like that. He might have missed them just because of his age, or maybe he just don't know about them. Still, here's some of my favorite joints, right? So, when I went that direction, like Usual Suspects came on the list. Okay. Shotters is on the list. City of God is on the list. A movie, Undisputed, with Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames.
I never saw that. Was that good?
See,
oh wow,
Wesley Snipes is kind of a take on the Mike Tyson in jail story.
It's dope. It's dope.
Yeah, real good movie. Wesley Snipes is a boxer in jail, right? Yeah. And real Undisputed. Check it out. Then I thought about some of my favorite actors and then some of their favorite movies. So, like Robert De Niro is one of my favorites. So I thought of Midnight Run and Ronin. Really good movies that people might not have seen, but really, really good movies. Denzel Washington is definitely one of my favorite. But to me, one of my favorite movies that he did, people don't even really remember like that, and it's called Siege. And he's an FBI agent. And it's a terrorist attack in New York City. Like Bruce Willis is in it. The guy Monk, the guy who plays Monk, the detective Monk, he's in that movie. What's that woman's name? I can't think of her name right. Real good movie. The dude from The Wire's in that movie. The cop that the lieutenant who's over the Wire cops, the bald head brother.
Oh, okay.
He's in it. Yeah, all right, that's Skinny Dude, right? So he's in it. So real good movie. Siege, I like that movie. And it's pre 9/11, so it's kind of interesting to see how Hollywood and we as a society looked at terrorism before 9/11. And in many ways, it's similar, right? In terms of how the movie plays out and then how things played out once 9/11 happened. And I think, I can't, one of my first favorite movies, because, so I'm going to take you back to when I was a kid type movie. And this is with Billy D. Williams, and it's about the Negro League, and it's called Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars.
I remember that movie. I ain't seen that movie since I was a kid. I remember
that's what I'm saying, right? It's one of my first favorite movies. Right, and it's a good movie that talks about the Negro League, but it's talking about it in the 70s. So always when the perspective of where we were is what movies to me really can document, kind of how people saw the world at that given time. So you're looking at how black folks saw the Negro Leagues back in the 70s, and it was with a lot of love. And you got Billy D. Williams is in it, James Earl Jones is in it, Richard Pryor is in it. So just some classic actors of their era. So that's definitely, and I could go on and on with some other movies, but that would be my list. And we got time, so hopefully you wrote those down and find a ways to access them and check them out, because you would definitely be grateful, because they were all good movies.
Cool. Good shit.
Really, really good.
Like that list. There's a couple on there I might have to check out myself.
Yeah. Please do.
All right. Pooh, you found your movie, man?
Yeah, I didn't know we was gonna go with the laundry list. I thought we was just gonna. Yeah, I thought we was just gonna go with one, because I really could have. I definitely could have packed some in a wagon and I got going with it definitely. But I was thinking about this movie. I think the name of it is Fractured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I saw that out there on Facebook. I mean, on Netflix. Was it good?
On Netflix, yeah, it's pretty dope.
Okay,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's like, connoisseurs, like us, it's hard to get us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might get halfway in and then we'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what's going on. So, let me say it. I'm not going to say it got me. However, it was a good movie.
Okay.
You know, I rarely find a movie that gets, especially now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in my 40s. No, I don't find any movies that get me. But it was definitely a good movie.
So let me ask you this, because I remember that movie. Did you, at the very, like, once it's revealed, is that when you got it, or was it like during the movie that you're like, oh yeah, you got it then? Like, when did you get it?
When did I get it?
Yeah. As you're watching the movie, when are you like, I don't want to tell the story, you know?
When I was like, Oh, well, boy, I kind of don't want to hit the spoiler.
No, you don't have to tell it, right? But just mid movie.
Okay. Probably about 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
when it happened to me. I leaned over to my wife and told her.
Yeah. Right. So when
without giving it away, what's the movie about?
Wow. Okay, so there's this hospital, and the guy, he noticing signs. There's a lot of quirky things going on with the hospital, and it's kind of like a black market thing.
Oh, is that the one where he brings his daughter in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure it's the one I was thinking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Right. So and Rising Sun, you guys have that? That's pretty dope. You guys ever saw Mercury Rising?
Yes. Saw Mercury Rising.
Okay. Sling Blade?
Yeah, Sling Blade is crazy. Yeah.
Okay. See, I stopped the list. I was trying to think some things when Al was reeling them off.
But those are all good movies, though.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I used to work at a movie store, man, and I used to watch movies I still do. I love movies.
Damn, I forgot when you worked at the movie store. Hell yeah.
Like a video store, like Blockbuster or something like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Eat.
Hometown.
That's all I used to do. Eat. Movies. Remember the cow on
movies, right. Yeah. Movies.
Yeah.
Man, movies was the shit.
No, definitely.
Man. All right. Yeah, I got a few too. So I went a different route. So one, I'm gonna throw out just because it's my all-time favorite movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Most people have, so it's not under the radar. But go watch Shawshank if you haven't seen it. My favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah.
But I have. So I've been on, thanks to one of my uncles, I've been on a Western kick lately. Never watched a Western movie in my life until I was talking to one of my uncles, and he was like, you need to go watch some Westerns. So we got time. So I've been watching a few. So first one, Unforgiven is a
great.
Unforgiven is really,
one of my favorite lines in all Hollywood is in that line is with Gene Hackman, and Clint Eastwood is about to shoot that motherfucker, blow his ass up, and Gene Hackman looks up and says, yo, I don't deserve to die like this. And Clint Eastwood looks at that motherfucker and says, you know what? Deserves ain't got nothing to do with it. And that's life, man. Deserves ain't got nothing to do with it when it comes to life.
But yeah, Unforgiven's a great one. Next one is The Man Who Shot Liberty Vance. Yeah, so it's an old one, black and white. But it's, I wanted to watch it, because it's considered the greatest Western of all time. But it's old, so a lot of people haven't seen it. But two, there's a line in there that is one of the best lines in movie history. And it's when. So the premise, well, I ain't even gonna tell you because it might give it away. But the line is when the myth becomes the legend, write the myth. All right. But it's Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne in the movie. So two classic actors. So definitely check that out. And another Western, which is. It's actually one of the best ones I've seen since I've been watching Westerns, but it's an animated movie. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Rango. But Rango is, it's just Johnny Depp as a lizard. But it's one of the best Westerns I've ever seen, but it's animated. It's a dope ass movie. But the cinematography, the artwork, the characters in there, like, it reminds you of like Western characters. It's so dope. And then two more that are not Westerns, but really like them. Apocalypto is one that everybody's got to watch.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, Pooh, this is one I've been telling you about, is Warrior. It's anybody that's a fan of MMA movies and, families, like family twist and stuff like that. Really dope. And then, the really good actors in it. The guy who played Bane and Venom, what's his name? One of my favorite actors. I can't think of his name right now, but he's in it. But it's just dope. So check out Warrior. So yeah, we can, we'll give you even more movies every week. If you want us to shout out a few movies every week. Well, like Al said, we got time, so we can do it.
Let me shout out Men of Honor and Secret Window. Both of those are two of my favorites. So I definitely let me shout them two out.
Cool.
Like every time they come on, I look at them no matter what. I watch them no matter what.
I never saw Secret Window. I have to check that out.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I was writing that one down myself.
Oh wow, Johnny Depp, it's the work. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Secret Window is what it is.
Secret Window. All right, check that out. But yeah, appreciate it, Phillip from Decatur. So hopefully you write these down, check them out. We'll throw out a couple more next week, kind of keep everybody up to date on our favorite movies. So, but yeah, that's all we got except for trivia. Al, you ready?
Eyes be ready, my brothers.
All right.
What you got? So, where we going this week? Okay, so traditional, typical style, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 categories, and then 4 categories with 4 questions. Each question, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so you got 4 categories with 4 questions. Simple as that. So the categories are since tomorrow is April 1st, April Fool's Day. Category: people born on April Fool's Day. All right. Okay. Then since
wouldn't this be crazy if like Donald Trump had a press conference tomorrow and said April Fools, all this shit was not real.
Just a hope.
Y'all go back to work.
Psych. Since my favorite basketball player in high school, Kenny Anderson, I went with people named Kenny. Okay. So this category is called Ken Do's. So I got Ken Do's as my second category. Then my third category, because the question was related to movies, I got underrated hood flicks as the third category. And then the fourth category, based on what you just mentioned and our experience right now, terrible presidents in my lifetime.
Okay.
So that one's pretty simple. That's kind of the layup line of the questions. But these all ain't that hard because y'all some smart gentlemen. But we got 5 seconds because we're gonna either know it, you don't rule. So the lightning round is in full effect.
Right.
But let's have some fun, fellas. Who won last week?
Pooh, you go first.
I'm on a losing streak, so I know I didn't win. I'm on the Dominique streak. They say I'm on the Dominique streak. Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. So Pooh, you want to go first? Where you want to hit?
Let me get what non-critically acclaimed hood movies. What's the
underrated hood flicks?
Underrated hood flicks. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Underrated hood flicks. 1, 2,
3.
3. It's always a good place to start. This is a 2009 crime film directed by Anton Fuqua. The film stars Richard Gere, Don Cheadle, and Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes This is his first United States theatrical film in over 5 years, after starring in Blade.
Yo, you know they really... Oh, I'm sorry.
4, 3, 2, and 1.
I don't know it.
Okay, that would be Brooklyn's Finest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, y'all didn't see Brooklyn's Finest?
Yeah, that's all
I
Brooklyn's
did,
Finest.
yo,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that. I didn't know there was. I can't recall Richard Gere being in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, no. Yeah, he was one of the cops. The older cop.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got, Jay? Where you headed?
Well, before that, I was just about to say, you know, they about to refilm Blade, right? They're gonna remake Blade, so I'm excited.
You gonna be in it?
No, I don't. Well, they haven't announced who's playing Blade yet, but I doubt it. I wish he would, but I doubt if they'll go back to him. What was the first category again?
First category is people born on April Fool's Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the one I'm gonna stay away from. Let me get Ken Dues for 3.
Ken Dues. So, you gonna like this one. So this one, he was a pro boxer, held the WBC heavyweight title in 1978. He's best known for his trilogy with Muhammad Ali. He won the fight by split decision, and then lost the latter 2 fights by split and unanimous decision.
Yeah, that would be
5, 4.
that would be Ken Norton Sr.
That would be Ken Norton.
The famed architect of the crab style.
Yeah, he had a crazy fight. Yeah.
All right.
So hold on. I guess it probably would help if I kept score, right?
Yeah, that'll work. Especially now that I'm winning. If I get behind.
Yeah, now that you got some points.
Keep score. What's the score?
Okay, where you at, Pooh?
Let me get the hood movies for 2, man. Let me get 2.
All right. This 1992 crime drama film was an adaptation of a 1987 novel called Crips by a teacher in South Central Los Angeles. The film stars Glenn Plummer. It was produced by Oliver Stone. And in the film, OG Bobby Johnson is a young gang member of the Hoover Street Deuces trying to go legal after release from prison.
Okay, South Central.
That would be South Central. I was like, damn, I kind of said it in the damn clue, but we ain't going to bring that up.
True.
Yeah, where you at, Jake?
Get Ken Dues for 2.
Ken's. He was named the Snake. He
Kenny
was the
Staples.
Okay. I take all this time to write these damn
Go out, bypass.
clues, and people just gonna go right after word number 3. But that's okay. Okay. I mean, you know, we don't need to educate the. No, you know what? We do need to educate.
Yes, finish the question, man.
He was the quarterback in the NFL for the Raiders. He quarterback for the Oilers and the New Orleans Saints. He played college football for University of Alabama. And he also quarterbacked the Raiders for victory in Super Bowl 11 and was the 1974 MVP of the NFL. No need to ask who he was because you answered early. But that's all right. That's okay.
Shout out to the Snake.
Shout out to the
The
Snake.
original Snake.
The original Snake. He didn't even get into the Hall of Fame until after he passed away,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy to me. But
Right.
okay. Jay got 2. Where you headed, Pooh?
Let me get the hood movies for 4.
All right. This 1992 film was produced and directed by Edward James Olmos. His first film as a director, Olmos stars as the film's protagonist, Montoya Santana. It depicts a fictionalized account of the founding and rise to power of the Mexican mafia in the California prison system from the 50s into the 1980s.
Damn.
5, 4,
Mexican mob.
2, 1.
I don't know it.
Okay. Damn, this is I should have mentioned this on my list.
What's that?
American Me.
American Me.
I never seen it.
Oh man, really, really good movie.
Come out and play.
Really, really.
American Me.
Yeah.
American Me.
Okay.
American Me.
One of the
Let me jot that down.
One of my favorite lines from Jadakiss, the young Jadakiss, when they was, I think it might have been the Lock's first mixtape. And he was like, "Watch American Me, learn to say fuck it. When Big Puppet killed Lil Puppet, you gotta watch that shit."
Hello, that's a brother killer. That's the. I'm gonna tell you the movie, but go ahead. So.
Yeah.
Okay, where you headed, Jake?
Let me get Kendu's for 4.
Okay. This football coach was a head coach of the Arizona Cardinals from 2007 to 2012, and the Titans from 14 to 15. He led the Cardinals to their first Super Bowl appearance in franchise history during the 2008 season.
Wow.
Ken Wisenhunt.
That would be correct.
I'm beginning to think I should have went to the Kendus.
Former Steelers offensive coordinator as well.
I tried to leave that out of the clue.
Just in case I picked it.
Right. Okay.
Let me go ahead and ride them on out, man. Give them to me for 5, man. The hood movies.
Well, it only goes to 4, but you want?
Oh,
the 1?
True that. Give me the 1.
This 2002 crime film starred Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleek, and Damon Dash. It was produced by Rockefeller. It was loosely based on Aaron Jones and the JBM in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's drug trade from the 80s to the early 90s. And it was also followed by a sequel that was released in 2005.
Dag, is that state property?
State property.
Okay.
All right. That shuts out underrated hood flicks.
Let me drop Kendu's for 1 and ride through it.
Nickname Junior and the Kid. 5.
Oh, okay. You know Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah. Let me start counting, maybe. Because, all right, I appreciate you waiting this time.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Okay, that wraps up Kendu's. So left is people born on April Fool's Day and terrible presidents in my lifetime.
It's my turn, huh?
Yes, sir.
Let me get people born on April 1st for 3.
Okay. A point guard from St. John's University. He played for the New York Knicks, Clippers, Pacers, Nuggets, Raptors, Jazz, and Houston Rockets. And after retiring, he became a broadcast commentator.
St. John's.
5, 4, 3, 2,
St. John's.
1.
Mullins wasn't no daggone point guard. I don't know. Who is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Mark Jackson.
All right.
Damn. Mark Jackson. Bugging. Bugging.
Hey. The only St. John point guard to play for the Knicks, probably.
Right.
But we ain't going to bring that up. Wow.
Bugging.
I was like, you picked the right one. I was
Man,
like, he gonna get 3 points here.
Mark Jackson was the furthest away from my mind.
And then I'm like, then he retired, and I was like, I'm reading like, okay, maybe I'll say the clue. I guess he waited for me to read the rest of it because I figured you just gonna blurt out Mark Jackson. But I was like, damn, once I read he a broadcast commentator now. But okay, we'll ain't going. Dang. All right, what you got? Where you going, Jake?
That was for how many?
That was 3.
That was 3. Let me do the 4.
She is an American television host. Hold on, excuse me. She's an American television host and liberal political commentator. She hosts a nightly television show on MSNBC named after her.
Rachel Maddow.
That would be her.
Let me get them for 4, man.
You want what for 4?
What we in? April Fool's birthdays.
That was 4.
Oh,
the only 4 left is president.
give me that.
Okay, I ain't mad at you. Swing for the fences.
I'm getting beat like a drum.
Yeah, swing for the fences.
Lambasted.
His presidency collapsed during the Vietnam War, but at least he spearheaded the Civil Rights Act.
The Vietnam War.
5, 4.
Richard Nixon was the
3.
The Vietnam War. 2. Yeah, let me go with Nixon.
No. Lyndon B. Johnson.
Lyndon B. LB.
LBJ.
All right. Let me get April 1st for 2.
Stinking out here, man.
Dead and stinking. Okay. This Nigerian English American actor and producer played Martin Luther King in the 2014 film Selma. He also played roles in the film Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Lincoln, Jack Reacher, and The Butler.
Michael Oyelowo.
His name is David Oyelowo.
Oh, David Oyelowo. Okay.
No, I mean Michael's his brother, but we're gonna so give him more.
I don't even know that guy's name, but guess you do. Or you know somebody that he's related to, so I guess that's good enough.
and Michael is Martin Luther King's real name anyway, so it counts.
True.
Where you headed, Pooh?
Man, what's left, man? Just
You
give
got,
me
people born on April Fool's Day for 1, and then you have terrible presidents of my lifetime 1, 2, and 3.
Give me the one for the April Fool's birthday. Let me try to get something else on the board.
Okay. He's an NBA player for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was selected 10th overall by the Nets in 2008 after playing 2 years of college basketball for Stanford. He also has a twin brother in the NBA.
Stanford.
4, 3.
It's gotta be
2.
them Madison boys.
1.
Ain't got no twin brother.
Final answer is.
I'm lost right now, yo. Who is it?
Hey, how many twins in the league?
I'm out of it right now, man.
Brooke Lopez.
Fuck, Stanford. He
Wow.
was drafted by the Nets
Yes.
and traded to.
Shit. Who else he done played for?
Lake leave.
Was it the Lakers? Yeah.
I didn't know he was drafted by the Nets. I did know he was drafted by the Nets. I can see him in the Nets jersey now.
Okay. We got terrible presidents of my lifetime, 1, 2, or 3.
Let me go with the 1.
This is my favorite one. He oversees a White House full of chaotic, petty, and backstabbing staff. He changes positions so frequently that no one can rely on his word, but really you shouldn't trust him anyway because he's a prolific liar. He tolerates corruption in his cabinet. He can't quite bring himself to condemn white supremacist Nazis. He got a tax cut passed, also a handout to the rich so that he could pay back, that would be paid back by poor and middle class for years to come. He accepted assistance from the Russians during his election bid. He recently used a foreign government to get dirt on a rival candidate and was impeached. And most lately, he called the coronavirus a hoax for weeks instead of preparing the country, which has left us an unprepared country and ultimately led to a failing economy. Who do you think that is, Jay?
Sounds like a great guy. I'm going to go with Donald J. Trump.
Oh, wow. Great
45 is called.
That is correct. That would be 45.
Describe that kid to the T.
You did. I was like, man,
except
a busy
that he
guy.
liked to grab, but I was going to leave that in.
All right.
Got kids listening sometimes. So. Okay, you got 2 and 3 left.
Oh, man.
Hey, can I get a score update? Cause
man, we don't need. Get out of here, man.
That's
real petty, Jay. That's real
out of
petty.
respect
man.
to our co-host. Got to do it like that. I'll give it.
I was trying to develop a strategy heading into these last 2 questions.
Hey, look how petty. Jay so petty, man. That was mad petty. Give me presidents for 2, you know?
What you want me to 2?
Give me the 2.
Okay, terrible presidents in my lifetime. For 2 is he fumbled everything from Katrina to Iraq to the economy.
Katrina.
5.
Iraq. Who was the damn president with Katrina?
3.
Some triple, ain't it? Obama was the president. He wasn't. Who was it? Bush.
Oh, yes. I'll give it to you. Oh, man.
Yeah, Bush.
Like I say, for shits and giggles, Jay, here's 3 terrible presidents of my lifetime. He was the trickle-down economics president. He slashed income taxes for the wealthiest of Americans in an experiment. And it didn't work. He pushed for deregulation of industries, including banking. He was the presiding president during the Iran-Contra scandal, and like Nixon and Trump, he ignored the nation's laws and to evade accountability through criminal cover-ups. Who was that president?
Mr. Gorbachev, turn on that wall. Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Great answer. Yes, sir. How that son of a bitch got a airport named after him, still don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Bastard.
Oh,
can I get a score now?
Yeah, you got all the questions correct, though?
Yeah, he did, actually.
I did.
Yeah, there's some type of fudging going on, man, but it's all good.
I mean, I could take the No, I was about to say, if it was a closer score, I could have said the Michael
Yellow.
Yeah. I could have took that because Michael Yellow might be a cousin, his father, related to
right. Well,
it's all good. It's all good.
You're accusing me of fudging. I did it. I did it with one hand tied behind my back too.
True. Blindfolded.
Right.
20-5 for the record.
True that.
All right.
It's every once in a while you need to get beat like this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're welcome then.
I'm just remember how this tastes.
There you go. Let it motivate you.
Right.
Remember how this tastes. Shocky talking to me right now.
Man, wow. Well, I'm glad I could be of assistance. Al, you hosted. What's your parting shot, man? What you got for me?
Wow. So, good. Good trivia. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Have fun with that. My parting shot is as we deal with what we are dealing with today. I think it is important that remember the things that are important. So I actually had the opportunity to call one of my aunts, and I thought I was on her shit list because that's what I was told. And reality is she had forgave me by the time I called her. But still, the thought of trying to mend fences with people is really what I want to talk about. And just this understanding that, we really just don't know what the future has for any of us walking around this planet. So to me, people who have value in your life and have meant something in your life and could probably mean something in your future, take the time now to make that phone call. To, you know, it might be say I'm sorry. In that case, it was me saying I'm sorry, and you know, just it's worth it. And a lot of times, you don't. And I thought it was something bigger than actually it was. You know, in her eyes, it really wasn't nothing big at all. But the point is still the same, though, is that when, you know, if there's conversations that you are avoiding, that you feel like, you know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, but you, for whatever reason, you're avoiding them, those usually are the conversations that you really, really need to have. And so go ahead, mend that fence, make up with whoever you need to make up with, because like, we ain't got nothing else to do, so might as well make that phone call.
No doubt. And we've all been there. You know what I'm saying? When you avoiding something, you making a bigger deal out of it than it really is. So, absolutely right. Pooh, what you got for me, man? What's your parting shot?
Man, I just want to say, you know, some people out here playing, you know, with that COVID-19. They still doing some wild stuff. I guess not really taking it seriously, but and some people serious about it. So, and I definitely got shaken up the other day, man. My went and worked out Carter, and he woke up the next morning, man. Say he had chills and fever and coughing. So I was like, yo, what the fuck? So went to the pediatrician, and I guess if you had whatever symptoms, they didn't even let you in. They came out to the car, you know, service you, and it was just so frightening to me that the you know, the doctor, you know, that came out talking to my son, he's in a whole like rabbit suit with a walking around with a shield, and I'm like, damn, he talking to my boy, and you know, damn, you know, something might be going on, like this for real, you know. So they took him, they spoke to him, took his temp, looked at his nose, his mouth, whatever, listened to his lungs, and he was like, well, he doesn't seem to be, you know, a threat for the, you know, for the COVID. You know, would you like me to swab him anyway? And I was like, yes, hell yeah, for peace of mind, for me to sleep at night, you should swab his ass. So,
the hell out of it.
Right, for sure. So he was like, you know, the nurse will be out, they're gonna swab him. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if they don't think he's such a threat, the nurse shouldn't come out here, you know, with that force field on.
Right.
You know, if they don't think he's a threat. So the nurse came out. Right, of course. It was force filled up. Right. So I was just swab my guy. So, you know, they hit me with the, you know, 24 to 36 hours, and they're gonna let us know what's going on. But, you know, I definitely think it's his allergies because no one was around. We went running in the park, and the change in the season, it does have that effect on him. However, the fever really threw us for a loop.
Right.
You know, so, you know, we'll find out what's going on tomorrow. So
okay, well,
but I think, like I said, no doubt. I think he's, like I said, no one was around.
Right.
So I think, you know, I think he's cool. I definitely think it's his allergies.
Cool. Well, good stuff, man. Make sure you don't have that kid out there on the monkey bars and swinging on the swings and shit, man. You do.
Nah, hey, I'm out. We out for that. But but hey, the moral to that is, man, take it serious, though.
You're right. Absolutely.
You know, take it serious.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Speaking of, I don't know what it's going to take for people to, and I say people, I mean everybody, to take it seriously. So a couple weeks ago, y'all remember all these kids going on spring break talking shit, saying it was the old folks virus and they ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
So now we got 28 students from the University of Texas who all went to spring break in Mexico, and they all came back with the Rona. So, you know, stuff like that. Not saying that, you know, we can prevent anybody from spreading it, but we need to minimize as much as possible. And when people are careless and they don't take it seriously, this is the kind of shit that happens. And statistically, not all 28 of those people are going to make it out of this. So like stuff. If you can avoid it, just avoid it. And these are the sacrifices we got to make, temporarily, so we can, get through this. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep repeating the same stupid mistakes, and especially when it's something you're battling that's stronger than you, because none of us are stronger than this thing. Being stupid doesn't help. So just take it seriously and stay your ass in the house. That includes people that want to go party. I read about a couple who had an anniversary. They were in Texas as well. Black couple celebrating their wedding anniversary, and they had a few people over their house. They thought they'd be fine because it was less than 10 people. It was about 8 people at their house. And the guy said, the husband, who the party was on a Saturday, the next day he was in ICU. The only contact he made with somebody at the party was fist bumping one of his friends. But again, all it takes is one person. So stay home. If somebody want to come visit you, tell them to stay their ass at home. So now this guy's in the hospital. Her husband his wife hadn't seen him in a week, and now her and her 2 kids are quarantined because she can't see him. Her and her kids can't leave the house, and her mother, who's in a nursing home and is not in good health, she also can't see her mother right now because she's quarantined. So it doesn't just affect you. So people, stay your ass in the house. Y'all folks that want to go to church and pray for the Rona, you're gonna pass it right to each other. So just stay at home and take this thing and take these lumps temporarily while we have to, and we'll be over this. But otherwise, we're just gonna keep going through the same shit.
No doubt.
So
Real talk.
That's all I got, man. Guys, again, good show. Very good show. Alvin, you suggested it earlier. If y'all want to, if we get bored and we want to jump on and do a midweek episode, really short 30-minute show, I'm game, because we ain't got shit else to do. So just let me know. And
we don't.
So, but again, we don't. But yeah, so again, this has been episode 151 of the Defy Life Podcast. We on the straight away to 200. So get on this boat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, guys, good show. We'll talk to y'all next week, maybe even earlier. Who knows? But until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
If you're into all things comics, you have to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, your go-to podcast for comic and superhero discussion, debates, polls, and more. Tune in as Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger chat about your favorite comic topics, and you never know who may show up for an open mic or what will be next on their favorite One Gotta Go. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, every Sunday, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network.